Wait. Do you think that a judge is also...
No.
Then why is Phoenix yelling at him?
Just because. He's like just getting into it, you know?
Oh, okay. It's not like the
No.
judge is also trying to cover anything up?
No, the judge... this judge in particular...
And actually completely unbiased to everything.
Yes.
Is he the same judge for the rest of the games too, or...?
Yes.
Alright then. No! Wait. I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gann arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. No!
Right. The judge...
Wait a second. I'm not sorry. He proceeded to break the jar. To break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces.
I just like that the judge was all like, oh no, how many years in jail am I going to get for this? Wait a minute, I didn't do anything wrong.
Wait a second. What am I doing? I'm the judge. I'm not a trial. I'm proceeding over the trial. Anyway.
Right.
Hid one of the broken pieces. Question. What is this action called?
Fabrication of evidence.
But why would Chief Gann do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet.
Ooh.
No, I did it on my own.
Lana, geez, you bit your thumb so hard that
I'm fine!
You squirted blood out of your thumb!
I did it on my own, I'm fine. It wasn't my thumb, it was my palm. Shut up. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients.
Foul lies? Imagine that, coming from my own client.
I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth.
Wait a minute. What if... we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap?
There's something wrong, Mr. Wright.
Lana, may be right after all.
Yes! Sorry, I'm really excited for the idea that Emma actually is now responsible for anything and she's completely fine. Just kind of like what happened with Edgeworth in the previous case.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping this entire time for that to be the case, but then they were like, no, Emma did it! I just...
I know.
Why do you do this to me?
So I can get your genuine reactions.
You let me sit here and believe that Emma actually was genuinely guilty
to get your genuine reactions. You have to feel the same emotions I felt when I first played this.
These are not anywhere near the same emotions you felt. You freaking Junko-loving fuck.
I'm not like Junko, okay? I like seeing emotion. I like seeing reactions. I like emotions.
You like feeling your...
Yes, I like feeling. Feeling. I don't feel very often, okay?
What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify...
Excuse me? Excuse me, bitch.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Miss Skye, please testify once more.
But...
if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie.
But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall.
Miss Skye, if you will.
He didn't fall in the armor. He fell over and smacked the thing, holding the pot over.
But the pot wasn't broken yet until Gant.
He bumped into it, and then Gant put him on the armor piece, wrote the name, hid the piece. All to implicate Emma and blackmail Lana.
Now you're thinking.
That's smart! Aha! I'm onto something! I have you now!
But are you right?
Partially. I know that much. If it turns out to be completely right, I'm going to be shocked, honestly, because I think that... Don't. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more. For the final time. I'm gonna take my socks off and get a little hot. I also forgot you don't have your fan in here anymore, because it's out there.
Yeah.
It's alright. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Kent help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning.
What? To me?
It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed.
But I don't remember receiving a picture like that.
It's in the book, isn't it? Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana.
Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right?
I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Rotate, zoom in, zoom out. Ah.
Hey, here's the picture. There's a picture here.
Hey. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything.
I'm glad you did, so that way we can point out contradictions. However, why did you take a picture of it?
Well, probably so this way at some point later on down the line, when she was finally able to reveal it, she could testify to the effect that it was a certain way before it was changed.
Fair enough.
Whether to... no.
Yeah.
Mr. Wright, that piece cut from his vest, could that be...
The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this? This is a handprint.
This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer.
What? But those fingerprints... They're yours, Emma.
Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's go on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I got it. The handprint is there from when she pushed him.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why the handprint's even there. He was already bloody for being stabbed, and she... bleh.
He hadn't been stabbed yet. When she pushed him.
Oh. So the stab is from the sword?
Yes.
Oh. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor sword.
Hello?
Hey.
Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen.
Chief Dance.
What, now do you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put a word or two in my defense.
I'm afraid it's too late for that.
What?
You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort.
This must be that risk they were talking about earlier.
Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Yeesh.
So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't, but someone does.
Someone?
So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping it quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves you knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt.
She tackled him, but that doesn't necessarily prove that it was her that pushed him onto the armor. Because if he was impaled on the sword, he appeared to be off the ground. So she had to have, shoved him, upwards somehow, right?
Yes. Also, this part's tricky, so I'm saving, just in case.
Is this true, Mr. Wright? Is this the thing about the fingerprints?
Yes.
So, do we present them, or is there something else we gotta do?
If I present that evidence, I'm gonna be sure to make it out to be a murderer.
Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
What do I do now? I'm saving.
Again. For the third time in a row.
I better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Well, we can prove that it doesn't mean anything, right?
Just because her fingerprints were there doesn't mean that she...
Well, I saved. Yes, Your Honor. I do have further evidence.
Alright, the time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the Chief's. Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. It's a piece of leather cloth?
Yes. It was most likely cut from the victim's vest near the chest.
What's this? There's a big handprint on it.
Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim onto the sword.
What? Whose fingerprints are on this?
I'm sure Righto has checked. Haven't you?
Well, whose are they?
They're Miss Sky's. Miss Emma Sky's.
What? They're mine? So, I really did do it.
See, I told you it was conclusive. But this was found on your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But...
Give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death.
No.
It appears we have our killer.
No. No! Everything hinged on that point. In the end, Lana alone was found guilty on all counts. Oh. I guess I shouldn't have done that.
Wait, really? Alright, I really thought that we were supposed to present that, but then we were going to twist it back to him being the one that forged it somehow.
That?
Or him cutting it from the chest because he kept it in his safe. And I really thought we were going to twist it back on him.
Well, cannot show evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence that I can present at this time. What? You lie!
Chief Gans?
You opened my safe. You took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it.
What are you talking about, Chief Gans?
Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area?
It looks like part of it's been cut for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department.
Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Wrighto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as a murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
What? You mean you admit to it?
I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. And then it occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her?
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay on her with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask for my aid.
So you assisted Miss Sky?
I told her to arrange the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room.
And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted.
When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe?
But why?
For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed.
You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence?
What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make it to police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off of all the pieces.
But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too?
Oh. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth?
Come now, Wrighto. Cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. That's right, that's why. I couldn't show the evidence because Chief Gant didn't admit to having it into a safe.
Oh, so now that he
has admitted it,
we can prove that he was hiding it as blackmail against Lana.
Yes.
Okay. So now we can twist it on him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present.
Foolish move, Wrighto. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess it up, victory is mine.
So, now show evidence? Or cannot?
I can.
Okay.
Because he's admitted to it. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now.
Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes! At last, you finally brought it out into the open!
There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that this immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean... It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence.
Ho 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 ho! You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy.
What?
Think about it. Wrighto had all this time to present this evidence, yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be?
You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they?
Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person whom these fingerprints belong to is...
Emma? Emma Sky? What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, you're really something, Wrighto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murderer on me.
So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky. You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't.
Miss Sky, it's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet. Huh, but I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned the poor little girl into a murderer.
Are you done yet?
Right.
I'm really...
Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall?
What?
Chief Gant, you're absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask?
It was Emma Sky, wasn't it?
I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is.
Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict?
Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. And take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out?
Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though.
Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs were no doubt punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth.
Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it.
Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Miss Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense! Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside.
He most likely his head on the ground and was knocked out.
If so, then tell me, who could have it been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky? Pick up the unconscious prosecutor and impale him on the armor sword.
Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. a jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue, and make Lana believe her sister did it. Holy crap, I was completely right!
You were.
Oh my god! Ah! It feels so good!
Congratulations. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Though through the very act of creating insurance, you proved you were the actual murderer. No! It's finally all over. Oh, that was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations.
What do you mean you refute his allegations?
You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence.
But it's relevant to the court case.
Order, order. What nonsense is this?
Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Righto here concealed that piece of cloth.
So now we bop him with the book, and it's done. Back to the basics.
Bam! So then, what's your excuse, Righto? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence.
At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair.
Oh! Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son.
I knew something was fishy with him from the moment I saw him.
I'm afraid Mr. Kent's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
Well, Mr. Wright?
It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived.
Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth?
I did not.
I admit, I refuse to present it at that one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal! No, it wasn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then, it's that I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Aji! Don't listen to his lies! He's nothing but a coward! You can't really believe...
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not?
Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now.
This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence to law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was a merely piece of cloth and nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law.
Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department.
Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case in trial.
And, here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but as you can recall, when was that picture presented?
That was shown only a few moments ago.
No.
He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Grant.
When you admitted you kept it.
Yeah.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of victim's vest? Oh, yes! No!
It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth.
The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before the prosecutor marshal in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you.
Which makes sense. He's a big guy, so for him to be able to pick up the unconscious prosecutor and just...
Yeah.
But why?
So also he could use Lana.
But...
Like he said, if he could have the prosecution in his pocket, he would basically control everything.
Yeah, but I just...
I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum! For 2 years he's been scooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, and then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then, all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman?
Do you want to be Goodman, anyone? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief?
Yeah.
We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
He opened his evidence locker and was taking the evidence out. He said...
It's not too late. I'm going to hand all of this over to Marshall.
Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. The accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out.
Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime.
Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't even realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Then you put the body in my car.
I'm sorry. I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how? How'd you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out.
So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker.
I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick up and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. Investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day, you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone.
I really wanted him to be like a weird nothing alike. And then, like, after he hands in his resignation letter, I may be just one man, but I will never turn into the monster you are.
Yeah.
It's just something real, like, yeah.
Like in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, gee.
What?
Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend.
Told you.
I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person.
Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Righto here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I hear them already. I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand.
Yes?
First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Grant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent.
You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble.
My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Leah thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright.
Miss Sky?
And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing.
Liar.
I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth.
Stop it. I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of those heavy chains.
Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty.
Yay, confetti, yay, not
Yay.
guilty, yay!
It also finds Miss Emma Sky not a murderer.
That is all. This court is adjourned.
Well, technically, Emma Sky was never actually
Yeah.
on trial.
Well, I know, but like, we discovered she killed Neil, but then
But then also she didn't.
yeah. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit.
No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I could see why you might think, Mr. Wright. And you too, Mr. Truth. You suffered every bit of past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh. Guess I am. I'll come back later.
Just wanted to make sure I still had the voice.
Yeah. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around while on duty? And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
This is the third time.
Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana!
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know.
Well, I won't tell if you won't.
Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma! Aw.
No one can change the past. The only thing that we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find a way back to our rightful path. And from there, that is where we can move towards a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
Edgeworth?
Stop hiding and come over here.
Where was he hiding?
I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right.
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day, you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone.
I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I needed a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now.
But Edgeworth?
Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Grant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz?
Come on, Mr. Wright, show what Lana's talking about.
Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edward nor I would have been able to find on our own. I think it's this.
That's the picture I drew.
Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture.
That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. No, that's a shame they couldn't convince him to return.
Yeah. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let whatever happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you.
I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem.
Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court.
Farewell. I'd better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will.
And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself.
Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal.
Huh? What is it, detective?
There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But...
I thought you said it was okay.
yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story.
Huh?
Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either.
Huh?
Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who will be footing the bill.
Huh? Huh?
What, you think I could afford with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
Huh?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it I suddenly feel like I wanted to scream?
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Oh, well.
Wow. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma.
I kind of want to talk to you, but I'm afraid that another thing will pop up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yikes! I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, They overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily.
So he got his job back.
Well, I guess he never really lost it to begin with.
The chief of police told him to leave his ID. But I mean, I guess...
But then he also turned out to be a big criminal, so...
That's true, yeah. It would have been cool, though, to have Gumshoe as, like, your partner instead of, like, you know...
My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir! I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe!
I do think it would be cool if, like, your partner for one of the games was Dick Gumshoe.
Edgeworth. That would be a really cool one.
That would, yeah.
Like, he comes back on and he's like... well, Edgeworth... well, actually, we're approaching that. Well, Phoenix, I never thought I'd be approaching you for this, but... You got any work for me?
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
And then they both go at it, like, as a double team thing from both the prosecution and the defense for... Oh. Rip.
Yeah. But yeah, I know what you're saying. What is it? Can't you see I'm having a showdown with my steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. See, she's seeing one of the arms, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water?
Megans will take care of that for you. Don't worry.
Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As for well gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The Right Way lunch. The top lawyer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom lawyer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards.
Turnabout. Ha!
Yeah. You know, the people in this case who seemed to be bad guys at first really did come around.
Yeah.
Like Marshall and Angel.
Yeah. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. What?
That's like the first time we've ever seen, like, the chair.
Yeah. Also, like, what?
I don't know.
He's been doing something or other for a number of years?
I'm not exactly sure what that would be referencing, to be honest.
I don't know either. Oh. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming! Well, see you around, Nick.
Nice that he visited her.
Or she sent him like a videotape postcard kind of thing.
Yeah, that could also be it. Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on?
Official letter of resignation.
Yep.
Rip. Can we get an F in the chat, boys? Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Oh. Okay, that's adorable.
Yes.
I'm guessing that's her in her detective uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Rise from the ashes.
Achievement unlocked.
For beating the last case, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Well, that's that, I suppose.
It is. Well, in the next episode, I guess we'll start the second game.
Huh. You know, in a weird kind of way, it's strange to think that we're starting the second game.
Right. I mean...
I kind of felt like that we were about to open up, like, Chapter 2 of Game 1, you know? Like, we finally got through, like, all the main, the main, like, early career story missions, and then you skip to, like, you know, like, later, a few years down with him still as an attorney, you know?
I mean, that's basically what game number 2 is.
I mean, sure, but I mean, well, you don't have Emma there, and I don't think Maya's back yet, is she?
We'll see.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I hate that you do this to me. Edgeworth isn't going to be there because it's the Von Karma chick.
Yeah.
The daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of lame.
Okay.
I mean, just a little bit because, like, you know, I'm just so used to seeing Edgeworth over there.
Yeah, I mean, Edgeworth is, like, the persecutor you know, like, Phoenix Wright for. But he's only in the first game.
That's true. That's true. But still,
Though, to be fair, Edgeworth did get his own spin-off games.
He did?
Yeah. There are 2 Edgeworth games.
What are they called?
Let me look it up real quick.
I didn't realize he got his own spin-off games, though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Edgeworth... Spin-off...
Are they available on Steam?
No.
Rip.
Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth, and
Okay.
Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth 2.
Oh.
Simple titles.
Oh boy. Investigations and Investigations 2?
Yes.
Interesting.
Oh. Japan only. They never got ported to America.
Which means that they're probably also not canon.
They're canon.
They are?
Yes.
What? Did they take place between 1 and 2? Or, like, where...
Apparently, this is, according to Wikipedia, it's a younger Edgeworth, like back when he was first getting started.
Oh, so, like, 2 years and everything before Phoenix was a thing.
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
They're prequel games, basically.
Right. Well, not right, because it's, you know, Edgeworth. But...
Right.
Huh. Interesting. Well, what I would like to see is one, like, really, really, like, long, fleshed out, good Ace Attorney game. You know, like, something like the size of all 3 of these games, where you have countless hours, and then you can take on other clients and whatnot, and continue to do investigations and stuff for all kinds of different trials and stuff.
Yeah?
Like, I think that could make a really good, like, simulation game.
To be fair, maybe some of the later games do that. I've only played the first 2.
Oh.
Which, actually, I haven't actually even played the 3rd game in this trilogy.
Really?
Yeah, I've only played the first 2.
I thought you played all 3.
No, I only played the first 2.
Alright, well, what other games are there, though, besides these 3?
Dude, there's like 10 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
In just the mainline Ace Attorney series alone?
Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea. Are they still making them?
I think they are, yes.
Well, then I guess when the next Ace Attorney comes out, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not on Steam. The only thing that's on Steam is the trilogy. All the rest are, like, on the DS.
Well, then... Wait, I thought that in, like, one of the later games, Phoenix is a homeless guy.
Yeah, that's because eventually it stops being Phoenix Wright games and the title is just Ace Attorney.
Oh.
Because you follow a new lawyer.
What?
Yeah.
Lame.
And, like, Phoenix just happens to be, like, one of the guys you run into.
He's not even, like, your mentor or anything? He's just kind of there?
I think... I could be wrong, don't quote me, because I haven't actually played the games. Like I said, I've only played the first two. But I think so.
Oh, kind of like Gumshoe or something? Where you you bump into him every so often?
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Or maybe it's closer to, like, Larry.
Maybe.
Well, that's a shame.
It is.
It'd be cool if maybe he was, like, your partner or something, at least.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what leads to that, though, because, like I said, I've only played the first two. But maybe there's a reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've already been recorded this episode for past an hour.
A little over, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, hour-long special finale thing, so why not? We're just kind of like reminiscing, talking, thinking about things. But
It was a good show.
Yeah, it was. So next time we'll start the second game.
I suppose so.
Yeah. See you guys next time.
Bye.